Hi everybody, it's Psychic Jen over here at Psychic.Biz.live tonight, and tonight we are talking about dreams and interpreting your dreams and all those fun things that happen at night when we're sleeping. This evening we do have our panel of hosts. We have Sonia and Nina Haynes, we have Aeson, and also we're trying to get Magdalene. She's one of our psychics over at Psychic.Biz. We're trying to get her up and running this evening so she can chat with us as well. And in our YouTube chat screen, we have Lady Catherine live as well joining us this evening, and she will be in our chat room monitoring all our clients that are watching and taking questions as well too. So thank you everybody for watching this evening. We do our shows once a week for Psychic.Biz Live, and each week we do pick a topic. So as mentioned, as you'll have seen in our social media, we were talking about dream interpretations this evening. So we are going to start with what dreams are, what nightmares are, and go into some symbolism as well too, and how we can work with those, intuitively speaking. So just before we do start, I am just going to mention that this evening after the show, after this live video broadcast, I personally will be on A1R Psychic Radio at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a half-an-hour show. This sponsored by Psychic.Biz, and I will be taking 2 callers this evening. So if anybody was interested in calling in, they can reach me through the station at A1R Psychic Radio. Call in, and I'll be doing some free readings this evening as well there, as well as here on our YouTube show. Sonia, I'll pass it over to you for a few moments. You can let everybody know about what's coming up for you this week in your radio show.
Yes, I am Sonia Nadina Haynes. I am an intuitive. Well, intuitive covers everything. People call me shaman. Some people call me oracle, just because I can see your past, I see your present, and I see into your future. And I read using the tarot cards, my intuition, the guides come and chat with me, and so on. I am on Psychic.Biz. It's my family, my very first family of intuitives. I'm actually totally enjoying it. I love these guys. They're really interesting people. And when I say interesting, I mean interesting in a wonderful way. I'm not a joiner, so when I join something, you know it is the bomb. I'm dating myself with the bomb, but however. I have a show on Sunday. I don't think I've set it up as yet. My last show, which you can go and check on Blog Talk Radio, is called Change Your Mind, Shift Your Life. And I thoroughly enjoyed that show because the guides had a lot to say. Our show on dreams is most interesting because most of my life is driven, a lot of my life is driven by dreams. And when we get into it, I have some really funny stories, which, of course, I do the humor thing. And, you know, we'll help you figure out how to understand some of the dreams that are coming. Some people have different ideas about it. Others have different ones. But, you know, the dreams that come to you all tell you what you need to know about what's going on in your life. So, Aeson, throw it back over to you.
Hello there, I'm Aeson Knight. I'm one of the co-hosts over at the Psychic Talk Shop on Wednesday nights at 11 o'clock, and I'm not sure what we're talking about. We may be talking about how to restart everything in your life, you know, because we've been on this change pattern. So that's what we're going to be focusing on Wednesday nights, and then Thursday nights I'll host a show called Conversations with Aeson. And this week I think we're going to be discussing spirit guides and where they belong. So we're going to be working with those. All right. It looks like Madeline has joined us. Madeline, can you hear me?
I think someone is sitting on your sound on your computer there.
Good.
Well, we'll wait for her to get, I do see her, we'll wait for her to get maybe her sound check and her volume and her microphone sorted out. So what I wanted to do about dreams and talking about dreams is how I interpret dreams for clients. So that's what I'm going to talk about first. And I was taught at a very early age that dreams are obviously the windows to the future, windows to our soul, and is a very awesome way that we can connect with one and each other in a different format, in a different plane, let's call it. And not to go into out-of-body experiences, which is a whole other topic, I guess, for another evening, but our dreams do foretell things. They do help us heal. They do bring about aspects that maybe our subconscious is sort of keeping away from our conscious and brings things to light. it also, sometimes we'll also dream about all those things we've done in the day and, forever working or forever grocery shopping or doing something like that. So that's the stress sort of coming out. But what the dreams will do for us will actually bring things to our awareness that our subconscious has sort of kept behind and needs to bring forward to the conscious. So what I was taught to do dream interpretations and using or symbolizing when it comes to dreams is to take the nouns and the verbs that you would use to describe your dream, and that is how we interpret it. So let's say, for example, you dreamt of a white horse running through a field of roses, going up a hill, and there was a big body of water on the other side, and then you see Donald Trump standing there. So these would all be aspects that you look at in terms of nouns and verbs. So you would look up white horse, green grass, fields, body of water, and then a political person, somebody of importance in your life. All those aspects have meaning. And what I always went through was a dream dictionary in the old-fashioned form of the book, almost like a Bible. But I also went to a website called dreammoods.com. And they actually, as in the Encyclopedia of Dream Civilizations, what I would do is I would look up each one of those aspects, white horse, green grass, body of water, and political person, and see what each one of those things mean, and then put together what the dream was trying to tell me, or what it was trying to bring into my awareness, so I could move forward and make decisions. So that's one of the ways that I do dream interpretations is through the symbolizing and getting the client's nouns and verbs and how they would physically describe what they experienced that night. What do you think, Sonia? How do you do your dream interpretations for clients?
I grew up with my grandmother. Oh, I had a dream last night, and this is going to happen. Her and her West Indian accent. Each aspect of the dream represents a certain part of your life. So if you dream about a car, the car is actually representing your physical body. If you dream about a house, the house is representing your mind. And the state of your home in the dream represents the state of your mind. So if you're struggling with something and you can't quite figure out, what's happening, usually, well, let's back up a minute. When we go to sleep, our unconscious mind processes the information that what we've gone through in the day, and usually when we have the dream connects with that question that we had in the day, somewhere along the day. And I mean, there are two types of dreams, and so in this one, that part of dream is about processing and figuring out what's going on. So if you've been struggling with something, you have a dream that your house is flooded with water, for example, your basement is flooded with water, it means that you're holding back a lot of emotions that you need to let go of. So that's what a house flooded with water is all about. Now, there are also dreams for intuitive individuals that can actually see into the future, which is interesting. And for me and my family, we're connected through dreams in that way. When I have an issue or I'm in trouble, my mom gets dreams about my father. So my father's passed away since I was 21. And every time I have a problem, my mom would call me, "Are you okay? What's up? I saw your daddy last night," right? And so that means I need to pay attention. So those are the two ways that we have dreams in the family. And you kind of have to watch the patterns so that you can start to understand what your dreams are telling you. Aeson?
See, that's kind of the dream. I look at the mind, the dreams as being either your mind cleaning out your crap, because it'll do that. It'll go through and make sure, get rid of memories you don't need. That's why you dream about the ex-boyfriend from 6 years ago, or, the job you used to have. That's your brain going, "Oh, no, don't need that file no more, out the door." Then, the psychic dreams of you dreaming about your everyday life and just what's going on there. And then, I separate what Sonia doesn't. I separate the dreams of where your past loved ones actually come to visit you, and it's like, okay, I decided to come visit, so I'm going to create a world that you will understand so we can have a conversation. Now, what I find interesting is what Sonia was talking about, where her dad goes and visits her mom, every time Sonya's in trouble, because I bet that's how they used to do it when he was alive. They'd be like,
Yes.
oh, you know, oh, she's in trouble. I better go see what Wifey has to say about it. You know, how's Mama going to deal with this?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think that that's a totally very interesting thing, a very comfortable thing, and it's natural. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get those dreams that are just totally weird. You know, Scooby-Doo running through the forest, trying to pick up a pumpkin, and you're going, what would you do with that? And see, that's where it ties into Jen's idea of dreaming and interpreting, where you have to figure out the symbolism of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so you can have any of those flows of different dreams. And, you know, there's a ton of books out there, a stack of them. But really, you've got to ask yourself, okay, what does Scooby-Doo mean? All right, for example, Scooby-Doo for me means relaxation, cartoons, fantasy, but also mystery, something not being right in my world. Fields and meadows mean to take time for me, because fields and meadows is meditation. You know, so you want to break that down into different things. So, Sonia, what's the weirdest dream you ever had?
Oh, I'm on a wharf. I'm just walking along the wharf, and all these fish jumped out of the water, and the wharf is covered with fish. The ground is covered with fish. There was no place for me to walk, and some of them were eels, and they were squirming all over the place. It was extremely freaky.
And what was your reflection on that?
Well, it's interesting because 2 days before, someone from the Philippines said to me that in her country, when you dream of fish, it means you're moving. So, of course, I had the dream, and, you know, I tried not to freak out about the eels because me and snakes. And so I held myself, and I went through the process, and I got out of the dream, and I thought, I guess I'm moving. And sure enough, within 2 weeks' time, an opportunity came up, and I was out of there. So, you know, I pay attention to what's going on outside, like if someone says something, because, you know, otherwise I don't know what I would have known about moving, but they sent me that individual to trigger that insight, so that when I had the dream, they used that understanding to me so that I could experience it. So that was very, very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Right.
Jan?
Yeah, I was just going to mention, before I do give you an example of what's my night adventures, Christy is actually watching us on YouTube right now, and she posted in our chat on the side saying that we really helped her last week, and she wanted to thank us all again for doing her show each week, and she's watching us again, and she's very happy to watch us each and every week. So thank you very much, Christy. And just to also mention that Lady Catherine is in our chat at YouTube, and she is sort of fielding our questions for us and talking to our clients. And
Thank
we
you.
also had a fellow by the name of Tom. Hi, Tom. Nice to see you this evening. Thank you for watching in. So if any of the folks that are watching and who are our clients, if anybody has a question for us that we will answer for you this evening, it can be about dreams, or it can be about any other questions that you may have. And I do see one from Christy again in regards to a question, some aspects in her life right now. So if you just give us a few moments, Christy, we're just going to talk a little bit longer about some dream stuff, and then we're going to get right to your questions. So just hang on for 1 minute there, Christy. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I wanted to mention a few things about my dreams and about my night adventures, as I like to call them. Two things, actually. I am one of these folks that dream crazy symbols. Like, I will be running through fields and picking apples and grocery shopping, doing all sorts of different things in my dreams. So there's lots of things that happen in my dreams that are crazy. Like Aeson was saying, just things that maybe don't fit or don't belong to each other, and it's just wild. Things that would not normally happen in real life, sort of thing. But there's also some dreams that I've had that are very prophetic. And one of the ones that has really stuck with me over the years is a dream that I had when I was about 19 years old. And the dream itself was I was walking through Kmart, and a baby was being born at the checkouts. And that was all I could remember of the dream. The next day, I was at work, and I was at work at a mall that had a Kmart in it, and I was in Kmart, walking through Kmart on my break, when my ex-husband's grandfather passed away. At the exact same moment that I was walking through Kmart, Grandpa passed away. So I didn't really think about it that much. So I was 19 and I was quite young yet. I didn't quite think about it until I spoke to my grandmother about it. And I mentioned that to her. I said, "Yeah, Granny, I had this dream, like I was walking through Kmart and this baby was being born at the checkout." Well, she said, "Well, honey, a baby being born means a death happening. So you foretold the death of somebody that you knew while this was happening. So when you were walking through Kmart, the death occurred in real life, in real time, and it actually did happen the following day. And I totally blew myself away for thinking, if I would have only known who the death would have been of, I maybe could have said something or done something, or sort of made a little bit of a change in how things were going. Of course, I didn't know because I wasn't aware of what it meant. But for me, whenever I dream of a person who's pregnant, whether it be myself or somebody else, that tells me that somebody's ill and they're on death's door when they're pregnant, because it's soon going to happen. Depending how far along in the pregnancy they are, depends on how far they are towards death's door. If I dream of the baby being born, I always try to remember that dream when I wake up in the morning. I do my dream journal. I try to remember as much as I can about the dream of the baby being born, and then I try to put it together. And so far, any but time I've ever dreamed about a baby being born, it has always come true that somebody has passed away that's connected to me. So those are some really freaky things that us intuitives and our dream masters do. And some of you that have probably experienced it, as an example, and don't realize that you are actually psychically foretelling something that's happening in the future. Has anybody else had some really crazy prophetic dreams like that?
See, Magdalene wants to talk. I don't know if she can hear us.
Oh, it sounds a little funky to me on my end.
Yeah, it's a little low, honey. Okay, I'll give you one moment. I'll actually talk about me. My dreams. I a lot of times have dreams like 2 years in the future. An example, I will have active dreams where I can sit there and watch myself, and be really in there where this watching everything pull itself together, and then it's like, oh, really? Okay. Example, I won't ever buy a blue car. I've already had a dream of me totaling a blue car. So when I went to shop for a car, it was like, no blue car, must be big, needs to be heavy. And the reason for it is, I've had those dreams where everything pulled itself together. And I've learned to pay attention to those dreams. It's like I've already had dreams of doing some stage production stuff and some teaching stuff. And, that stuff kind of pops up for me.
Okay.
Just to mention, folks, we did have another client who's watching us on YouTube. She did mention her name is Jenny. She had a dream.
Oh, the interference is hard.
Oh, let's see. Sorry about that, folks. I just want to mention this. Okay, Jenny is with us now on YouTube, and she said that she had a dream that her baby had his crib bumper pads came off, and he was wrapped up in them. And so she had this dream that the baby was wrapped up in these crib bumper pads. She woke up scared and went over to check on him, and he really was wrapped up in the bumper pads. So that was mother's intuition kicking in while you were sleeping, Jenny, saying, you got to get up and check on your young lad because something's happening. So that is definitely a psychic premonition, psychic dream, and you got there just in time, obviously, to look after your young one. And so that was definitely divine intervention, angel, spirit, whoever was putting that information in your head while you were sleeping in order for you to realize, wake up, be afraid, and then check on the little one. So that's very interesting. So that's very interesting, actually, Jenny. Thank you for mentioning that to us. And as I mentioned just a few moments ago, we have Christy, who wanted to just ask us a quick question, and then we can get back on to some dream talk. So Christy is asking us, Is there anything she needs to be warned about, or even any messages she needs to know in regards to things that are happening in her life right now? Because she feels that she can't see what's happening in her life, and she's wondering if there's something that we can help her out with. Things are not okay, and she's trying hard to focus, try to move forward. She feels that there's something happening. Somebody may have a message for her, you know, spirit or angel-wise, that she should have a warning about. So, Sonia, do you have any information coming through for Christy about that?
Yeah. When you're put on hold, you need to stand still. And that's a very important message for all of us, whether we are intuitive or not. If you're trying to go somewhere, and there's a book I read a long time ago where the angels said, if you're trying to go out the door and you can't find your key, be aware that you're going to have an issue somewhere along the line, and they're stopping you from getting involved, getting into an accident down the road, or witnessing something. So when your life is slowed down and it's actually not going well, just stop for a moment. Don't push so hard on the door of life, because they are not ready for whatever it is you're supposed to go to. Isn't quite ready yet. It's not ready yet. So just be still, take a deep breath, unplug. Maybe there's something nice that you're supposed to be doing, like taking care of yourself, because I have a feeling the last 6 years, and especially the last 6 months, you were helping everybody, looking after everybody. You have to stop, take care of yourself, because when the next thing comes, which is not too far from now, you're going to be very busy and you're going to be exhausted when it shows up. So stop, you know, stop in the name of love. Yeah, right? Yeah,
Very good,
Aeson?
very good.
Okay. I feel, I totally agree with Sonia here about stopping. It looks to me like you've got to take some time to heal and to reflect upon your past. I do feel like you're going to have a little issues coming up here, probably within the next 2-3 weeks. Nothing you can't handle. And then with the Ace of Pentacles showing up, I really feel like you've got some new beginnings, probably financially, with a lot more security. And then that's when you can begin cleaning things out and chopping things up so that you can get moving with Queen of Cups, Queen of Swords popping up there. So I think you're going to be really okay. But right now, you just need to take a breather and recover from this 10 of Pentacles, which is your down, your low point. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Let's see if we can get a hold of Megs. Is Megs with us? I do see her. I'm wondering if her recording, her microphone's good. Can we hear you, Megs?
She's still muted.
Oh, she's trying. I see her. She's shaking her head. We see you, Megs.
Okay.
There she is.
Yeah, there's something with the sound. I think she's got a spirit over there helping her out.
It sounds like something's involved over there. That's right. It sounds like a different little voice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What's going on?
I sense spirits over there playing with her right now and not letting her talk
She's
to us.
She's sitting on a ley line. Yeah.
She might be. Yeah, she is. She's moving her head. That's right. She might have a little poltergeist or somebody over there hanging out with her this evening. So
this
awesome.
is fun.
That is fun, actually. So that's awesome, everybody. Thank you for all your information, and I'm glad that our clients we have a handful of clients here watching us this evening. And Pug Mama is with us this evening as well. Hi, Pug Mama. Thank you for watching us this evening. And yes, it sounds like a little electronic chipmunk. You're right. That's exactly what it sounds like. And Lady Catherine is in there talking with her clients as well. Thanks, everybody, for posting your questions and your comments, your messages. That's interesting. And yes, I just want to mention that definitely sounds like that Megs has got somebody over there hanging out with her. So I guess Spirit is just not wanting her to connect with us this evening. It's unfortunate because we were looking really forward to talking with you. But let's keep talking about dreams. Yeah. Absolutely, Sonia, absolutely. Let's keep talking about dreams. One thing that my young lad had a dream, he was very, very young, and it was prior to 9/11. So our dreams and our abilities, we run our families, as everybody is well aware. And my young lad had a dream, and he is very intuitive, and he's now 17. he had a dream prior to 9/11 that he had seen the F-15s. This is in his words when he was telling it. The F-15s, the Army airplanes flying overhead, and inside the airplane was the goat with the hooves standing inside the airplane, and then the airplane crashed in the big grassy hill. And this was his dream that he had probably about a month before 9/11 actually did happen. And I remember he came to me and he told me about the dream, and it was sort of upsetting for him because this goat was kind of scary, and the airplane crashed. But he did see the Army jets, the F-15s, flying around as well too. So I wrote it down and I sort of kept track of it. And it was after 9/11 that I actually, when we were getting all the information about how the planes came down and what was happening, that I realized that he actually had a prophetic dream as well too. And he was probably about 3 or 4 at the time. And it's quite scary for our young ones to have these dreams. Now, he was so involved with his dreams that he actually was diagnosed with night terrors. He actually had those night terrors that our children have, where the dreams are so real and they cannot wake up, that they are flaring and hitting and biting and doing all that they can, and they are so deep inside that dream state that they just can't come out of it. And there was a time that he was so bad in a night terror that his father and I had picked him up and took him in the van and took him to the hospital. We didn't know what to do with him because he just was not waking up. And as we pulled into the parking lot of the hospital, he did wake up and he came to, but he would never remember what was happening. And there was probably about half a dozen times really severe night terrors where we didn't know what to do with him. And then they just stopped. They stopped probably about age 6. But after then, his dreams, he would still have dreams and whatnot. Again, to this day, he is definitely intuitive. And he definitely wants to work with animals and helping out and doing some healing works, which is very good. But it's very interesting how our children, even at such a young age, have these prophetic dreams, and they have no clue what it is. And only until they actually talk to us about it can we actually put 2 and 2 together sometimes. But those night terrors are awful. So if there's anybody watching this evening that their children have night terrors, please remember that they're very intuitive children, and they are being visited by spirit, by angels, and they just don't know how to comprehend what's happening. And so they start to have those night terror examples, as I mentioned. Sonia, have you ever experienced some traumatic dreams and nightmares like that with yourself or your own children?
Well, I have, but I again, growing up as I did, I have a different approach to dreams. But with your son, I get a lot of children that age end up going through past life recollection. So they remember when they died, and they keep remembering it. The memory keeps repeating itself until they get to a certain age. They just don't know that that's what they're experiencing. So the night terrors would be the terror that he felt, as a pilot in, let's say, World War II, going down and being shot down. You know what I mean? So that situation is quite prevalent. My daughter, my younger one, told me about a dream she had where she saw herself standing on the side of a hill. She asked her, what were you wearing? Because I took her back into the dream and I asked, what were you wearing? And I have a feeling that she remembered herself as my father. So she saw herself standing on the hill. It was all green around, and she described where I grew up, which is where my father was born. So, so she was either him or someone else that's related to us. And so that's one of the things that you can do with your child is calm them down and then ask them very calmly, just go back through the dream one little bit at a time and ask them different questions. And what that will do is help them to get some kind of a balance with it, that they know they're in control of it. So that's one approach that they can use.
Absolutely, yeah. Aeson, are you with us?
Yep, I'm here.
There he is, awesome.
I've just been muting myself so that we don't have feedback going on so much. What I find interesting is you brought up September 11th. I used to be part of a little psychic network chattering group that we chatted like in between readings and whatnot. It was called the Psychic Chill Room. And this is way back then, gosh. I can't believe how much things have changed. But there was about 15 to 20 of us that literally went into like what I call fully awake mode, where we were like not sleeping for days and would be in there chattering. And then when the ones that would sleep, they would come back with dreams of planes, of fog, of New York, and different things. And that's actually been recorded. I think Moon's Maiden kept a chat record of all the stuff that went on in that group, and I think that she's got the recordings of us giving different predictions like that. But it was going on throughout the world. Now, that has also been incurred in India when they had the tsunamis. There were Indians that saw them coming. So keeping a dream journal is very important. And, we were talking about children and their dreams. And granted, 3- and 4-year-olds can't write down their dreams. But if you write them down as you're recording them, you can begin to see the patterns in the dreams. And you can begin piecing together those past life reflections going on within that. So you can get an idea with it. There's one little boy who was in World War I. And they've been able to trace down his name. He's been able to meet his. Now they're they would be his parents, but they're great grandparents. So dreams can be very useful. A lot of people's ideas and thoughts was brought up about dreams. Oh, we have a train coming through.
Yeah, all of a sudden the train's like loud. It's bizarre. I don't understand it, but oh well.
Spirit, honey, we're going to be traveling.
There you go.
Very interesting.
Can anyone hear me yet?
Oh my God!
Yes, almost.
Hello, darling.
Awesome.
Hi, Ray.
Hi. How are you?
And
A
me
little
and my
frustrated.
train.
Can you see it in my face?
Beautiful.
Yes.
You sound good.
You sound great. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your practices, because our viewers, heard a little bit about you last week.
Oh, me. I'm too busy trying to figure out why I've been blocked from here, and believe me, a lot of things like to block me. Because of what I have and what I do, and I'm one of the true healers, this is something I totally believe in. I really don't care who believes it or who doesn't. When you have really powerful gifts from God, and I believe they do come from God, a lot of darkness does not want you speaking. It does not want you out there. It doesn't want you saying what you need to say, because you help a lot of people. And I do believe there's a fight between darkness and light. It's been going on since the beginning of time. So this was interesting going through this. I am computer savvy. I've been on computers before anybody even had a PC. And I'm sitting here going, I'm looking at this mute button, and it's not doing anything. Anyway, beautiful smile, Sonia. Nice to meet you. I've never met you before.
Very
Jen,
nice
you look gorgeous. Aeson, nice to meet you. I feel like I'm among a group of people that are very conscious of others and their feelings. This is nice. I've been with a lot of sites. Don't have the same integrity. So I'm honored to be here. I'm a Reiki master, a card reader. I laugh about reading cards because you really don't read cards. You have intuitive, and they give you a picture and you get a glimpse of what you need to do. I love that we're more open in this world about healing and gifts. I wish it would happen a little bit more and people weren't so afraid of it. I did a little binding here to stop this, so obviously it worked, and I don't do that enough to protect myself when I'm doing stuff. I'm so open-hearted, I leave myself like a pot shot for most people because I am a healer. I give of my whole being when I do what I do. I do protect when I do Reiki. I forget to do it when I'm doing readings or when I'm on a, the Native Americans never allowed their pictures to be seen, and I believe there's something to that. They're my people. You can see the wolf behind me, and everything about me is Native in my beliefs. So thank you for having me. I'm off subject here about dreams. If you want me to share an instance of a dream with you, I'd be honored. I was dating a guy when I was younger who was sort of like the love of my life. We broke up, and years later, I think it was like 7 years later, this is when I kind of thought I might have a gift. I had dreamt that he had a horrible motorcycle accident and literally disfigured. And I mean, I sat up in the bed completely sweating, like there's no way. It felt so real, like I was there and saw the accident. Then I thought, oh my God, why am I dreaming? Because he wasn't in my life anymore. Turns out I just had to find him. So I went through a whole bunch of stuff trying to locate him again because we hadn't spoken in years. And he said, wow, he said, I was in a motorcycle accident, completely disfigured the side of my face. And I was like, wow. So that was a premonition, prophecy, whatever, that I went through. Another thing is my mother was murdered when I was 19. I've been through a lot in my life. And I watch these people that talk about, oh, I've written 25,000 books and I'm the super spiritual leader. The people that are really true healers and teachers have been through hell. You cannot teach unless you suffer. It's part of the process we have to go through. And I keep saying, when am I graduating? When am I graduating? So anyway, my mother was murdered when I was 19. I had been living with a boyfriend, and I came home from the hospital. It was funny, I had saw my mother. This is a really kind of a touching story. I was wheeled down from a cyst that had ruptured on my ovary. I was in the hospital in intensive care. Needless to say, I don't do doctors. They almost killed me. They said there was nothing wrong with me. I was bleeding internally. Finally, one beautiful angel doctor walked into the room and did one more thing to test. Found out I was bleeding internally, took me to emergency room immediately, and I was in the hospital. During that time, everything was happening. The guy I was living with was drinking all the money away that we were put away for bills. Well, everything was happening at once. I'm in that hospital screaming again, why am I here by myself? Why is this happening? Then they go to wheel me out, and there's my mother. Now, my mother was an alcoholic. So every time I spoke to her, she was nasty. I never got any love or warmth when she was drinking. When she was sober, she was a beautiful person. Well, here's my mother. Haven't seen her in years, in the emergency room as they're wheeling me out. And I look, and I'm angry now because I'm in there. I don't have any health insurance, and I know how I'm going to pay the bill. And my mother walks up to me. She's sober, and she said, I'm going to get emotional now. She said, I know I haven't been a mom to you, but I want you to know that I loved you as much as I could, and everything I have is yours. And I said, Mom, it would be nice if I heard from you when you weren't drinking, and all of a sudden something came over me and said, stop being angry. Stop being angry. And I felt this presence around us. I gave her a hug. I went home in that car, and I kept saying to Billy, who picked me up from the hospital, I said, something's wrong. Something's not right. 3 days later, she was murdered. Her boyfriend had gotten drunk. She got drunk, and he stabbed her to death. And this sounds like a really gruesome story, but there's a lot of things here that people need to understand. Number one, he was the one guy that my mother went with that I liked. I had met him long before that, and I liked him. He had been sober for 12 years, going to AA. My mother was very violent when she drank. She tried to kill me as a baby. That's why I was in foster homes. Anyway, that time was a gift to say goodbye to her in her natural state, in her real state, without the demons. And alcohol is demons. Drugs are demons. That was not my mother. Anyway, I got to say goodbye to her. But on the way home, I knew something was going to happen. When I got that call from the morgue, it was just unbelievable. I was 19 when that happened. So I had to go identify her body. At 19. I've had a very tragic life, but every bit of it, every trauma has blessed me with the gift I have. And I know no matter what happens to me, I'm here to help other people. So it was interesting that the dream, and then knowing my mother, something had happened to my mother. It was weird. I was in an apartment I lived in, and it didn't even feel like my apartment. Nothing felt normal. And then I got that call. So the blessing was I got to see her before she passed. We got to hug each other and have a closure there. My mother, again, I went to school after that for drug and alcohol counseling because I wanted to help people, because I know it's an addiction. I know people are self-medicating. So I have that under my belt. I've worked legal, medical. I worked for the House of Delegates in the legislative, so I've gotten to see politics. in my life at 60, and I am 60 years old, I have done everything. And now I love it because it brings me right back to what I'm meant to do, which is help other people. So, I mean, I've even had clients ask me legal issues, and they don't know that I actually am qualified to help with that. So this is me. It's so typical that I couldn't get in today. This is the story of my life, and I'm just honored that I'm here finally. I should have been, as soon as I said bind, I was able to get in, and I keep forgetting to do that. We need to protect around us. Go ahead, Aeson, I know you want to say something. Say something.
Well, welcome, girl. And, I'm going to suggest something that I've done with mine.
Okay, that's fine. Now I can't hear you. Am I supposed to mute me so I can hear you?
You should be able to hear me. Okay. I suggest sticking words up because that way it's just permanently there. You don't have to think about it. Because I'm like you, I forget about that. And
what did you say? You suggest what?
Putting words up so that they're just permanent. The binding is permanent.
Permanent words.
Right, and I've done that. I thought I had done that, but obviously it wasn't permanent enough, and I'll try it again. I have some things going on here, too, with my stepson and stuff. So there's a lot of, I get placed right where the darkest can be, because I'm supposed to bring the light. So it's okay. I do my work. Is that vodka? Was that vodka?
No.
Florida water.
Trust me, I'm starting to think I might as well join because I'm not winning.
No, baby,
Sonia.
no. This is Florida
What is
water. Florida water.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention, you're crazy. I wanted to mention we have some questions at our YouTube chat right now. And let me see here. We have Christy has indicated to us that she has dreams of spirits and that she's listening to them or telling them to cross over. So she has experienced that, and as well, we have Emily with us as well, watching tonight. Hi, Emily. Thank you for watching in. She's indicating that what does it mean to dream of your future children? So basically, we have Emily has asked, what does it mean to dream of our future children? And then also Christy has indicated she has dreams of spirits and listening to them or telling them to cross over. What do you think, Sonia?
I love the dream of future children. She's working on a project or several projects right now, which are like her children. Oh, just giving me this yummy feeling inside. Oh.
She says that she dreams of two girls, maybe 4 and 6 years of age.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful dream. And she currently only has boys, but she dreams of girls.
Yeah, well, there are a couple of things that she's working on that they're basically letting her know that she needs to keep on that path, because especially if the kids are healthy, that the girls are healthy, that what she's doing is going to succeed. So I just got this beautiful, a little bit of choked up feeling. There was this lovely, soft, yummy pink feeling that came around her, and it means that whatever she's working on is going to work out. So she might have wanted to throw in the towel or get a bit frustrated and give it up. Don't. Just keep going at it. You're almost there. That's lovely. Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yummy.
Thank you very much, Sonia, for that.
Yeah.
And what do you think, Megs, in regards to the gal who dreams of the spirits and helping them cross over or talking with them?
Did you ask me, Jen?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Actually, what I got immediately was past lives, that these children have been with her before and they're coming back. I do believe we come back with family members, absolutely believe in reincarnation, and she's going to recognize one stronger, she said 2 girls. Is that what she's dreaming? Is that what I heard? Yeah. One she's going to recognize this, like as soon as she sees her child, there will be a connection.
Awesome, awesome. Aeson, what do you think about either of the clients that have mentioned those questions?
Well, I'll take the one about spirits coming to them in their dreams and then listening to them. A lot of times when that occurs, that's showing an innate mediumship ability. And what you're basically doing is you're just being the answering machine. You know, tell Johnny I love him. Okay, I'll tell Johnny you love him. What's your name again? Okay, Aunt Sue. All right, great. Have a great night. you don't really have to push them to go over because they're already over. They're coming to visit. So just take the message and then move forward. And I would set hours. Here's that. When I say set hours, tell them you can only visit me from 10 to 11 because after 11 I need to go and rest. That type of thing. So you get a little bit of control there because if you've got that internal mediumship light, they'll hound you all night, honey, and you won't get any sleep. Another tip is to have a night light on. For some reason, spirits tend to leave people alone if there's light in the room. So sleep with the TV on, put a little light on there. There is many mediums that will not sleep or go in the dark for any reason, and it has to do with the level of spirits there. So you don't have to tell them to cross over, but you can get their, take a message, excuse me, type of thing. Now, Madeline, you said you studied with Native American. Now, they've got a little bit of that in the shamanism. What do you think from that point of view?
In what way? Spirits?
Spirits coming and visiting the shamans?
Yes. There's totems, there's animal totems, and then there's spirits. It's funny because even Native American teachings very clear about white magic and black magic, and they had a lot of Native Americans playing with things they shouldn't. I'm anal about bringing in spirits. I don't believe in going ghost hunting. I don't believe you go searching for souls that have passed on. I think that's the wrong kind of entertainment because you can bring in something that you can't handle.
Right.
I think.
Well, what about when they come to you, honey? You're not bringing them in. They're showing up at your doorstep.
One thing I've been pretty blessed with is I usually don't get them in that way. I had one where I worked on a girl and forgot to protect, and I took one home. But as far as speaking to me, I say it's my angels. I don't need a... I mean, I have animals that definitely speak to me live. I have a raven that talks to me, and the wolves are my two totems. So those are messengers that are... And to explain that, a raven, the whole bad rap with the raven is not a bad thing. It's not a black magic thing. He does foretell when someone's about to pass. And the way he will tell you is by literally looking at you and squawking at you. So it's not just them being there. They have to get your attention. So those kind of spirits, I prefer animals. But as far as what messages I get, I believe I work with the 4 archangels, and they're the ones that give me whatever I need, and that's the presence I feel. When I'm clearing energies out of people, that's a whole different story. If they've been playing with things they shouldn't, then all kinds of things can come through, and I give them to the angels as well. I don't want to carry that on. So.
All right. Jen, turn it back to you, darling. What's your thoughts on these spirits coming in and, the mediumship there starting to open up?
Right. Well, this is actually kind of connected to our dream discussion as well as that as well. You'd mentioned that the spirit will come, or deceased will come to us. It's like a lighthouse, On the other side, sort of thing, we as intuitives and as mediums and channels are like a lighthouse, and we're shining bright. So the spirit on the other side sees that light and is drawn to it. So that they walk to it, they come to it, and they start talking to it, and which is us, obviously. And one of the things you mentioned is, always having a night light on or something. I am very serious about that. Every night I leave a light on in the house, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, somewhere. And one experience that I've had connected to dreams, but also at the same time when spirit was coming to, around, I was in bed, I was sleeping, I was in a decent deep sleep. About 4 blocks away from my house was a man who was trying to kill his wife, and then tried to commit suicide, or was going to kill himself. So about 4 or 5 blocks away from me, it was the month of May, so my windows were open. I heard the gunshot go off, and he was trying to kill his wife, and she actually survived the incident, but he thought she was dead. And then he turned the gun on himself, he put the gun in his mouth, and he committed suicide, all the while thinking his wife was already gone, and so it was a murder-suicide. She survived, thankfully, but he had done this to himself. I heard the gunshot, the second gunshot. I felt it in my ears, I felt it in my head, I felt immediate pain as he was dying. So as he was dying, 5 blocks away from me, I was the lighthouse, and he was on the other side, and he seen me, he seen the light, he came to me right away, and was telling me what was happening. and I was feeling it. I was feeling him dying and the pain that he was going through because he was right there. We were very close. So he was telling me, he was communicating with me, and he was trying to explain what was happening. And all I could feel, all I could feel was this immediate pain in my head and my face, and it was very, very scary. And that evening, after I sent him away because he did pass over, and I sent him away fairly quickly because it was quite scary, I obviously didn't sleep the rest of the night. And then it was the next day, only when I was at the bank, did I actually know what had happened. I heard about the murder-suicide, or the attempted murder and suicide, and what had occurred. And it was very distressful because I obviously felt this man kill himself, so I felt what it was like for him. And about 3 weeks later at my employment, the woman came in because I worked at a denture clinic, and her dentures broke in the process of her trying to be killed. So we had to repair her dentures for her. And as she was sitting in the chair in front of me, he came and he talked to me, and I explained to her what had happened and that he was sorry for what had happened. And he was explaining this to me as she was sitting in front of me and saying that he was sorry that he did this to her. He just wanted to see her out of pain because she was in a wheelchair, she was disabled, and this is what has occurred. And right then and there, I was able to help them heal the situation. It was only about 3 or 4 weeks later. He was able to pass properly, and she was able to forgive, and she is still, to this day, still alive. So it was a very interesting situation, how it was the dream state for me, how it came, how the spirit talked to me, and how I experienced that very awful, painful death of this man. But in the end, how the spirit had came and the reconciliation occurred between him and her. So I was at that portal for him to come and speak, and he found me right away. And he was with me until the day that they actually did make the reconciliation. So very interesting, and something I don't want to live through again because it was very scary. And but you're right, you know, they see us, they're like, we're a beacon of light, the spirit, and they come to us in dreams. They come to us as we're awake, anytime, anywhere. They come to us. So there's my experience with something like that.
They will agitate too. I'm one that doesn't have that. Jen, you're one of those. I work with people that are healers to help them balance that, because some people are really open to that. Like their light is brighter and they can see them. And I've always taught people they really need to protect when you have that, because like Aeson said, they'll keep you up all night long. They'll bother you all the time. So it's nice that you were there for somebody, you know, in that way. But like I said, when that porthole's open, everybody comes in. There was a shaman that was teaching one day, and he said, if you open your back door, anything can come in. So it's really true. We have to be careful what comes in and what doesn't, and how long they're allowed to stay. You know, privacy issues.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, in that dimension, I don't think they know anything about privacy.
They don't care. I don't think
That's
they
right.
would.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, this has been a very awesome conversation with you, Mags. We're very glad that you were able to join us this evening. We're almost out of time, actually. We've almost been chatting here for almost an hour again. So what we're going to do this week again, like we always do, is we'll just sort of do our round table, and everybody can sort of talk about themselves for a few moments before we do leave. But I think we are actually going to take your suggestions, clients, to everybody who's watching this evening. If anybody has any topics, we still have a few more moments. So Christy and Pug Mama and anybody who's watching right now, if you have any suggestions for us for our topic for next week, please post it here in our chat at YouTube. But before we do pass around, I just want to mention that I am actually doing a live radio broadcast in about half an hour's time at A1R Psychic Radio. So if anybody is interested, head over to A1R, get in line, because I do know that there are some folks in there that do call in because they do want to speak with me. So if you're watching and you do want to speak with me directly, please check that out now. Contact Dave at A1R, and he'll get you set up with me in about half an hour. And this is the show, as well as this video that you're watching tonight, is sponsored by Psychic.Biz, where all of us are available, that you can speak with any of us at Psychic.Biz. We have awesome rates. We do video chat, as well as emails and phone sessions. And anybody who's watching tonight, we also have a promo code currently on. It's SPRING16, SPRING16. When you use that at your deposit, you get an additional $5 free. And don't forget, I'll just mention Lady Catherine is also available. She's been monitoring our chat room for us this evening at YouTube, so thank you very much, Lady Catherine, for doing so. Hopefully next week you'll be able to join us in the video. We'd like to see you again. So, Aeson, I'll pass it over to you, my friend.
All right. I'm Aeson, and you can join me tomorrow night at the City Coffee Shop at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard, and that's over at Blog Talk Radio. And then the next night at 11 p.m., I'll be at the Conversations with Aeson, and we'll be talking about some good stuff. Or you can reach me at the Psychic.Biz. I'm currently on something until July 4th for 99 cents a minute. And, make sure you use your promo codes because that gives you a good bit of time with me. And I'm going to Miss Sonia.
Yes, I'm Sonia Nadina Haynes. I might drop the Haynes part because that's a mouthful to say. My show is next week, Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The guides haven't told me what I'm talking about yet, so I wait for them to tell me, and then I put it up on the show. I am on Psychic.Biz, and I'm on for phone calls, and if you'd like an appointment, send me an email, because I'm running all over the place doing a lot of stuff. I tend to sit on for a while, but either way, drop by Psychic.Biz and look up Sonia Nadina Haynes. You'll see my gorgeous face, and you can click on all that stuff and come in, check me out. Spring 16 sounds good. I am looking forward to the next show and what we're going to talk about. Our shows are always so interesting. Okay, I don't know who's talked yet. Madeline? Okay, yes, love.
I'm just honored to be part of Psychic.Biz. I worked all the other sites. I don't think I'm going anywhere else. I do my own Reiki practice here out of the house. I don't think anybody knows I'm in Australia. Have we even mentioned that I've moved from the States and I'm living in Australia? Good old Australia.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's been interesting living in a different country and learning a lot of things here. So I'd be honored to help anybody. I've been doing this stuff for a very long time. I love what I do. It keeps me going. When everything else falls apart, I know what my job is here. So I'm honored to meet you all and be a part of this. And Psychic.Biz rocks, and I will be a part of doing everything I can to promote this. The integrity is amazing, and I've been looking for this because too many sites are getting very greedy with their readers and not honoring, their part in that. So this is wonderful. Thank you, Jen, for inviting me. Thanks, Aeson, and thank you, Sonia. I have to ask one question, Sonia. Do you have Native American in your blood?
No, I am Jewish.
Really? Actually, they're the first tribes, right? When you go back to tribal.
My sister did the ancestry thing with the DNA thing. Comes back we're 90% African and 10% Jewish. So,
wow. So you were around at a good time.
Yeah, I do have a lot of Native American elders that swing by every now and again and shove me out into the world. I'm like a cat getting into the water. I'm not going. So that's kind of.
Just before we go, everybody, it does look like that the consensus is talking about spirits some more. So talking about spirits as well as angels and also white light. So that's talking about grounding yourself and how to maybe protect ourselves from spirit. I guess what you had mentioned, Mags, is a very good topic, and a lot of others are feeling that as well, too. So it might be a very good topic for us to discuss on both spirits, good, bad, and everything else, and how to protect ourselves, how to ground ourselves, and how to work with them. I think that would be a very good topic.
That's great. I have an amazing story to tell.
Oh, we can't wait for next week. You can't give it tonight. You have to wait till next week. Okay, Sonia?
Yes.
Awesome. That's great, everybody. So we should sign off now. Thank you all for watching in this evening. And hopefully everybody who's watching will watch this next week. And we'll be talking about spirits. Thanks, everybody.
Blessings, everybody.
Bye.